The medical establishment ignores a glaring, suppressed clinical reality. The corporate machine tells you to drink a glass of plain water before bed to stay hydrated. They frame it as a healthy habit. But here is the uncompromising truth, that plain tap water is the exact reason you are jolted awake at 2 a.m. every single night, unable to get back to sleep. Plain water is biologically inert. It contains absolutely zero payload to force your nervous system into restorative sleep. It provides no magnesium, no glycine, and no tryptophan. Those are the critical blueprints your biological machinery requires to enter and sustain deep sleep. Plain water cannot calm your nerves. It cannot regulate your core temperature. It offers zero biological support. Instead of acting as biological armor, that plain water bypasses your system and floods a critical structural choke point, your aging bladder. As you cross 60, your bladder's holding capacity degrades. It sends a premature distress signal, violently yanking you out of the deep sleep cycle. And once you are up, the damage is done. But we do not accept biological decline. We execute tactical interventions. You do not need to cut off your nighttime hydration. You need to weaponize it. In this briefing, I am giving you a strict protocol of 5 clinical-grade drinks to replace plain water. These are documented to force the aging brain into deep, uninterrupted recovery. You will wake up sharper, lighter, and more dominant after a single night. Stay locked in until the end, because the number one intervention on this arsenal doesn't just sedate you. It acts as a biological repair system, actively rebuilding collagen and overhauling muscle tissue while you are completely unconscious. Listen to me. After 60, your antidiuretic hormone plummets and your endogenous melatonin production is slaughtered by age. Your bladder becomes hypersensitive. Even one sip of inert water is a tactical error that triggers a wake-up. But hydration isn't the enemy. The kind of hydration is. You need smarter payloads. Drinks engineered by nature to deliver magnesium, violently downregulating muscle tension. Glycine, to override the brain's alertness protocols. Tryptophan, to fuel your body's internal melatonin factories. These plant-based and biological compounds annihilate nighttime stress without prematurely tripping the bladder alarm. When you execute these protocols correctly, they force your cells to retain precise hydration, locking you into sleep. A small tactical switch is all it takes to dominate your night. Just one small glass, the right compounds, the right time. Every intervention I am about to outline shares one uncompromising trait. They are not just water. They are specific delivery mechanisms that force your physiology to shift from high alert to deep recovery. They do not drop your core temperature too drastically. They do not spike your blood sugar with engineered garbage, and they will not cause restlessness. Let's break down the arsenal, moving from the baseline interventions to the most aggressive biological armor. Intervention 5, warm unsweetened almond milk. The establishment pushes cow's milk, but after 60, dairy slaughters the digestive machinery. Unsweetened almond milk is a precise, tactical alternative that cools down an overactive mind. The payload here relies on 2 clinical mechanisms found in nut-based milks, magnesium and tryptophan. Magnesium violently suppresses the nervous system, throwing the brakes on stimulating receptors. Tryptophan is an amino acid precursor. It forces the production of serotonin, the neurotransmitter of calm, which your system then weaponizes into melatonin, the master hormone of sleep. This is not theory. A 2014 study published in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences laid out the clinical reality. Adults who executed an almond milk protocol twice a day for 2 weeks extended their deep sleep by a massive 22 minutes. Nighttime awakenings plummeted, and morning alertness skyrocketed. More importantly, unsweetened almond milk is devoid of engineered garbage. It has zero capacity to spike blood sugar or cause bloating, making it an uncompromising choice for prediabetics or those with compromised digestion. Choose a variant with zero flavor additives. Execute this protocol by warming exactly 150 milliliters, 60 to 90 minutes before your head hits the pillow. Add a pinch of cinnamon to trigger a mild circulatory boost. It is a dual-action weapon. It nourishes the nervous system and repairs your nighttime biological rhythm. Intervention 4. Chamomile tea. If your mind is racing with lingering anxiety and you go to bed bracing for a fight, chamomile is the tactical strike you need. In mere minutes, with 0 calories, it annihilates mental stress. Do not let the weak reputation of tea fool you. Chamomile is armed with apigenin, a potent flavonoid that acts as a biochemical weapon, binding directly to the GABA receptors in your brain. These receptors are the choke points for anxiety and circadian regulation. Apigenin actively suppresses brain excitability. Clinical data is clear. Seniors executing a chamomile protocol plummeted into sleep 16 minutes faster. Nighttime awakenings were slashed by over 30%, with 80% reporting highly restorative sleep. It is a biological override command telling your brain to shut down. Stop struggling. Stop worrying. Execute this tonight. Steep 1 bag of dried chamomile in hot water for exactly 5 to 7 minutes. Let it cool to a tolerable warmth. Sip it slowly 45 to 60 minutes before bed. You can add a slice of ginger or pure vanilla extract for a thermal effect, but absolutely 0 honey or sugar. Sugar is a biological weapon used against you. Do not put it in your nighttime arsenal. If you notice the deep calm it forces upon your system, share your intel so others can deploy this protocol. While chamomile executes a mental override, the next intervention targets a microscopic biological choke point, the electrolyte system. Cross the 60-year threshold, and even a fractional mineral imbalance becomes a biological hazard. It triggers premature bladder spasms, rogue muscle contractions, and violently rips you out of a restorative sleep cycle. Intervention 3. Lightly warmed coconut water. The corporate machine pushes engineered sports drinks full of synthetic garbage, but fresh coconut water is a tactical biological payload. It is weaponized by nature with precise ratios of potassium, magnesium, and natural sodium. These minerals command your electrolyte framework. They violently suppress erratic nerve signals and dominate the smooth muscle contractions of your bladder. Clinical evidence from the Journal of Sleep Disorders research in 2017 proves this. Aging adults operating with depleted potassium faced a 28% surge in fragmented sleep and nocturnal urination compared to those with a locked-in electrolyte grid. Restore the mineral framework, and you fix the sleep architecture in a single week. But you must execute this protocol with absolute precision. Do not consume it cold. Do not consume it at the exact moment of sleep. And if your kidneys are compromised or you are under clinical potassium restrictions, stand down. This intervention is not for you. The protocol is strict. Dilute fresh coconut water with warm water in a 1:1 ratio. Deploy exactly 100 to 120 milliliters. Ingest slowly post-dinner, maintaining a strict 1-hour perimeter before bed. Add fresh ginger to force thermal and digestive efficiency. This tactical payload removes bladder pressure, dilates blood vessels, and shields your nervous system from nocturnal overstimulation. If you are waking up with rogue leg cramps or phantom bladder urgency, deploy this for 3 nights. While coconut water locks down the bladder, The next intervention launches a direct assault on the adrenal glands. This is the command center for stress hormones. For many adults, the true reason you fail to achieve deep sleep isn't environmental. It is a systemic cortisol flood. To annihilate this silent threat, nothing beats our next protocol. Intervention 2. Golden milk weaponized with black pepper, a compound that crushes stress hormones in exactly 1 hour. Cortisol is the biological chemical of warfare. If you hit the mattress with cortisol surging through your veins, your brain remains locked in combat mode. Heart rate stays elevated. Melatonin production is paralyzed. You lie there tossing, turning, failing. Enter curcumin, the active payload in turmeric. It is a rare biological agent capable of dominating the HPA axis, the critical communication pipeline between your brain, pituitary, and adrenal command centers. Efficient absorption of curcumin violently suppresses cortisol production, upregulates GABA activity, and forces the prefrontal cortex to stand down. But turmeric alone is highly inefficient. It requires a catalyst. Black pepper is that catalyst. It triggers digestive enzymes that amplify curcumin absorption by up to 800%. In a 2019 study published in Phytotherapy Research, subjects executing a nightly curcumin protocol for 4 weeks annihilated their baseline cortisol levels by an average of 23.3%. EEG scans proved a massive upgrade in deep sleep architecture. Execution is straightforward. Mix half a teaspoon of clinical-grade turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, and 150 milliliters of warm almond or walnut milk. Deploy slowly, 1 hour before sleep. This doesn't just force sleep, it actively hunts and destroys systemic inflammation, overhauling joint damage while you rest. Deploy it tonight. Now, the ultimate biological intervention. Intervention 1. Warm gelatin or diluted bone broth. The corporate health machine sells this as a superficial joint and skin supplement. They completely misunderstand its power. It is the most potent, natural biological sleep weapon for the aging system. Gelatin is loaded with glycine, an amino acid that acts as a master switch for the central nervous system. Glycine forces a drop in your heart rate, physically lowers your core body temperature, and commands the brain to generate slow waves. This is the physiological blueprint of deep, unshakable sleep. The journal Neuropsychopharmacology published the proof in 2007. A tactical dose of just 3 grams of glycine before bed commanded the aging brain to sleep deeper, wake less, and boot up the next morning with aggressive clarity. Unlike the synthetic garbage sleeping pills the pharmaceutical industry pushes, which chemically lobotomize you, glycine fundamentally repairs your natural sleep cycle. Furthermore, it initiates overnight collagen synthesis, repairing tissue and fortifying your physical armor. High-quality, slow-simmered bone broth is packed with gelatin, glycine, and proline. The protocol: dissolve 1 teaspoon of unflavored, high-grade gelatin into 120 milliliters of warm water. Execute this exactly 34 to 45 minutes before sleep. If deploying bone broth demand low sodium, heat it gently and consume it isolated from food for maximum absorption. If you have been defeated by chronic fatigue, deploy gelatin tonight. It forces recovery. Share your results in the field reports. You might hesitate, fearing any liquid will trigger your bladder. That is a failure of strategy, not biology. It is not about whether you drink. It is about payload volume and timing. Follow these uncompromising protocols to dominate your night. Rule 1. Volume control. We are deploying payloads, not flooding the system. 100 to 150 milliliters is the absolute maximum. Overload the system, and you compromise the bladder. Rule 2. Timing is everything. Execute the intervention 60 to 90 minutes before sleep. Treat it as a strict biological shutdown sequence post-dinner. Evacuate the bladder before lying down. An empty tank secures uninterrupted sleep. Rule 3. Nutrient density over liquid mass. Thicken gelatin or golden milk traps hydration inside muscle and nerve tissue, starving the bladder of excess liquid. Rule 4. Rhythmic conditioning. Train the bladder by evacuating at the exact same time every night. Rebuild the biological machinery's memory. Force it to hold hydration without strain. Rule 5. Pacing. Never chug. Ingest slowly over 10 to 15 minutes. Steady breathing. This prevents fluid shock and maximizes absorption. Rule 6. Isolate your variables. Deploy one tactical intervention per week. Week 1, almond milk. Week 2, gelatin. Identify your optimal biological response. You do not need prescription pads. You do not need synthetic pharmaceutical sleeping pills. You do not have to suffer the weakness of a shattered night. You just need a tactical intervention, the right payload, executed with precision. After 60, the rules of biological warfare change. Your framework is sensitive. But you can still dominate your night and achieve 7 solid hours of deep, unshakable recovery. You can wake up ready to execute. Pick one intervention. Deploy it tonight. Command your biology. Drop your chosen intervention in the comments below. And if you demand raw, uncompromising truths to weaponize your aging body, hit subscribe and lock in your notifications. I will be here every week, giving you the tactical blueprints to dominate your health. I'm Dr. Chloe Kim. Get to work.